Hello, scholars. Thank you for joining me in some vocabulary lessons. We are on week 6. We'll be learning 2 words in each session, 4 words total per week. You will need a notebook and a pen or a pencil. So let's get started. Here's our first word. Our first word is browse. Browse. Have you heard that word before? Do you know what it means? Let's write the word and definition in our notebook. So our first word is browse, B-R-O-W-S-E, browse. And when you browse, you look at something in a casual way. You browse, means it's a verb, when you look at something in a casual way. Okay, so now let's see this used in a sentence so we can have a better understanding of the word. My mom didn't want to buy any books at the bookstore. She just wanted to browse. Okay, so she's looking at books. She's not looking for a specific title. She's just looking around. Some people like to shop this way where they don't have anything in mind. They're just wanting to look around. They're not in a hurry. That's browsing. All right, so now we're going to number our paper 1 through 5. And if you've seen my videos before, you know I like to go straight across the line. And we're looking at which of these means the same as browse. If it means the same, you can put a check. If it does not mean the same, you put an X. Number 1, look around. Look around. Put a check or an X. Number 2, surf the internet. Surf the internet. Put a check or an X. Number 3, study. Study. Number 4, glance through. Glance through. Number 5, examine. Examine. All right, let's go over the answers. Number 1, look around. Looking around is a check. You aren't looking for any specific one thing. You're just looking at everything, seeing what catches your eye. Number 2, surf the internet. When you surf the internet, you're just looking around the internet. That's a check. You're not looking for anything in particular. You're just scrolling through. Number 3, study. If you are studying, you're looking at very specific information. That would be an X for study. Number 4, glance through. If you're glancing through something, you're looking very quickly. You're probably not looking for something specific. It is a check. Number 5, examine. Examine would be an X because if you're examining something, you're looking very closely, and usually it's for something very specific. All right, so now we're going to go to our next line, and I want you to write about something you browse through. Remember, browse means to look at casually without anything specific in mind. You can use my sentence starter if you'd like. One thing I like to browse through is, or maybe it's a place. You can substitute a thing for place. One place I like to browse through is. So finish your sentence. Make sure you give me some good detail. Maybe you want to tell me why you like to browse through that specific thing. But I'm ready to move on to the next word. So the next word is cautious. skip a line. Number 2 is cautious. Have you heard that word before? Do you know what it means? We're going to write this word and the definition in our notebook. So cautious. C-A-U-T-I-O-U-S. Cautious. When you're very careful and don't take any chances, you're being cautious. When you're very careful and don't take any chances, you're being cautious. All right. Now let's see the word in the sentence so we can better understand it. We had to be cautious on the drive to school because there were many potholes. So they had to be very careful and not take chances, because if you hit too big of a pothole, you can actually damage your car. So they had to be cautious so their car didn't get damaged. All right, so next we're going to number our paper 1 through 5. You know me, I like to go across the line to save paper. And if this is a situation where you would be cautious, you're going to put a check. You put an X if you don't need to be cautious. Number 1, when you eat a cookie. Put a check if you need to be cautious when you eat a cookie. Number 2, when you pour hot liquid. Put a check if you need to be cautious when you pour hot liquid. Number 3, when you use a sharp knife. Put a check or an X. Number 4, when you quietly read a book. When you quietly read a book, put a check or an X. And number 5, when you cross a busy street. When you cross a busy street. Let's go over these answers. When you're eating a cookie, number 1, that's an X because you usually don't have to be super careful when you're eating a cookie. Number 2, when you pour hot liquid, that would be a check because it is very easy to burn yourself when you're pouring hot liquid. Number 3, when you use a sharp knife. That's also a check. It's really easy to cut yourself if you're using a sharp knife. Number 4, when you're quietly reading a book, we can put an X there because we don't really have to be careful when we're reading a book. There's nothing dangerous about that. And number 5, when you cross a busy street, that would be a check. It's easy to get hurt if you're not careful or cautious when crossing a busy street. Now let's go to the next line. And I want you to tell about a time you had to be cautious about something. What did you do and how did it turn out? Tell about a time you had to be cautious about something. What did you do and how did it turn out? So if you need a sentence starter, you can use my sentence. One time I had to be cautious was when, then you complete the sentence. Tell me what you did and how it turned out. If you need to, you can pause if you need to finish writing, but that's all I have for you today. Join me in part 2 for the 3rd and 4th vocabulary word of week 6.